Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, offering seasonal nonstop service to Denver. Outdoor concerts, hiking, and more activities in the Mile High City are one flight away on Frontier Airlines. Close, convenient, Sierra. More at CIRA.com.
One of Bloomington's best summer traditions, the Illinois Shakespeare Festival, begins this week. That's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Monday, June 24th. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with Lexington's inaugural Small Town Leaders Conference, which gathered officials from 5 central Illinois counties over the weekend. WGLT's Lauren Warnicki has more.
Lexington Mayor Spencer Johansson says towns experience similar challenges to cities. The differences lie in scale and capacity.
We don't have grant writers. We don't have a team of attorneys. We have to basically rely on the mayor or the council members to do this stuff.
Bucking the trend, Lexington has managed to grow. The town's population has gone up 5% since 2000, and business is booming. Main Street has no vacancies after recent additions like Lexington Social and Analytical Brewing. The town will soon add a hardware store and Mexican restaurant off the main strip. Johansson says its friendliness towards small business owners and maintaining their own school district has made Lexington an attractive place to live. But housing has not kept up with their economic growth.
From what I understand with the realtors, there is a lot of interest in Lexington. We just don't have the housing for it like everybody else.
A new subdivision was slowed by the pandemic. It is expected to be completed this fall. Another ongoing challenge is broadband access. Money from the federal bipartisan infrastructure bill was earmarked for rural broadband, including parts of McLean County. But so far, that has only helped people who already had decent access.
Define rural to me, because we've got people that's 5 miles out of town that it's almost the old dial-up.
Johansson says Lexington residents now have more options, but vendors would not extend new fiber optic lines outside city limits because there were not enough households to justify the cost. For The Leadoff, I'm Lauren Warnicki.
Here's some other stories we're following at the WGLT newsroom. Gun violence prevention groups in Illinois are celebrating Friday's Supreme Court ruling as a win for gun control. The court ruled that taking guns away from people accused of domestic violence is constitutional. Checks are going out in a $65 million settlement of a class action lawsuit against State Farm. Attorneys had accused State Farm of overcharging on life insurance policies dating back to the 1980s. Heartland Community College is hosting an open house Thursday night for students who may be eligible for the Workforce Equity Initiative that helps African American, Latinx, and low-income earners enter the workforce. And Illinois Wesleyan University is adding 3 new majors. Come this fall, students will be able to major in sociology, criminology, supply chain management, or communication. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. The Illinois Shakespeare Festival's new season begins this week with productions of Twelfth Night, Macbeth, and Sense and Sensibility. All of these plays require many costume pieces for the cast. The festival's costume shop is divided into 3 groups, one for each production. The only shared element between the 3 plays is the cast. Costume designer MJ Romek tells WGLT's Emily Bollinger that about 56 costume pieces have been made for Twelfth Night alone.
And then we have bigger shows like Sense and Sensibility, I think, have much more costume pieces because that's set, more in the Regency era. And then for Macbeth, also, I think there's even more people in that show, plus all of those other costumes. So we get probably over 100 or so costumes just for the 3 shows.
Can you describe what it's like to make so many different costumes?
We buy some things, we pull some things we already have here in stock, and then we build some things. So it's pretty fun to kind of puzzle piece everything together. And then when we're actually making things from scratch, we get to pick the fabric that we like and the shape that we like, and we can really sort of tailor it to the actor as well.
Can you describe the making process?
It's a combination of a lot of things. For Twelfth Night specifically, we used a bunch of commercial patterns. We set our Twelfth Night in the 1950s. So there's a lot of patterns available that we can sort of just work off of. But then there's a couple of pieces we needed to make the pattern ourselves. So we built off of what already existed there. And then for the most part, it's sewn on machine, but a lot of those finishing details, things like buttons or hems like that, we'll do by hand.
And how historically accurate are these pieces, or do they have a modern or creative twist to them?
For 12th Night specifically, we're pretty historically accurate. The only difference is I've taken away a lot of the stuffiness from the 50s, so a lot of the shapes are going to be really similar to what you see in history, but I'm not really worried about petticoats or things like that, just to sort of help give a feeling of easiness and breeziness for this show.
And so the Illinois Shakespeare Fest does take place over the summer. How do you deal with the actors sweating in the costumes? Maybe it rains and the costumes get wet. What does the maintenance look like?
We have really great wardrobe crews who work very hard to make everything good and clean and keep things moving. So we'll, constantly be doing laundry, have constant upkeep before and after all of our shows.
Is there any difficulties in making these costumes? Is it hard to make them historically accurate? Are any of the patterns difficult? Or any of the stitches difficult to do?
In 12th Night, we have this sort of very intricate halter twist wedding dress that we have printed fabric that we need to piece out each skirt panel to make sure it's in the right place with the right pattern on it, and then sort of sculpt the bodice to be exactly what we want. So that has taken a lot of time and a lot of effort to get right.
What is your favorite part or the most satisfying part of working in the costume shop?
I really love to see when things start to come together. I think that's the most satisfying, is after you've had one fitting and then you're working towards the next couple of fittings with the actors, because then you're like, oh, great, I can see the show happening. I understand these characters and it's all starting to come to life, but it's not quite there yet. So it still has a lot of room for growth and potential. I think that's super exciting.
That was costume designer MJ Romack, who's been working on costumes for the production of 12th Night. This is their first season working for the Illinois Shakespeare Festival. They spoke with WGLT's Emily Bollinger. 12th Night, Sense and Sensibility, and Macbeth will run through August 3rd at the festival, held at the Ewing Cultural Center in Bloomington.
Support for arts and culture coverage on WGLT comes from PNC Financial Services. PNC is committed to supporting local arts and culture events in the communities they serve.
Before we let you go, the Bloomington City Council meets tonight at 6 at the Government Center. On the agenda is discussion and possible direction on housing issues within the city. And that's it for today. I'm Ryan Denham. The show is produced by Lou Warner. You can subscribe to the Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.